2020 Tantra, Crown Tantra, info in the description. So Alex Jones just hit me up. He said he wanted to do a show with just me and him. So that should be cool. That should be coming by next Wednesday. Probably like, what is that, like October 28th? But I'll upload it. You guys will see it. Anyway, like Martin Kinney was saying, I'm sure you guys seen the Real Virus video. If you haven't, you might want to refer back to that after this or something. But it's a sine wave, you know. It's a sloppy sine wave, but at the same time, you know, true perfection seems imperfect and shit. So, anyway, it's a sine wave, you know what I mean? So you got your, like your DNA helix or whatever, however you want to look at it. But this is multidimensional. These lines never touch because there's only oneness, so there's no touching in the universe. Touching itself is kind of an illusion because everything is one. So these lines are just reflections or mirrors of one another. They're not touching. And if you look at it in a more multidimensional view, you see things differently. So I'm gonna do my best here, or be my best here. Okay, yeah, so here's the more multidimensional view, but let me go back into this next slide or whatever, however you want to look at this. So, you know, like when the Tao Te Ching says, stay close to the center of the circle and everything like that. So you got your sine wave, you know, going, you know, your hologram that you're living in or whatever. And then the consciousness is never touching anything because it's never against anything. God has no enemies. It's oneness, or the consciousness has no enemies. It's oneness. It's infinite. It has no up or down, here or there, left or right, this or that. There's no againstness with that identity, with that presence. So it's piercing the void of the sine wave. This is, you could say, you are here. You know what I mean? Like in a mall map, you are here. This is your awareness through the sine wave. So, right, I might wager to say that the North Pole maybe looks like this. I don't know. Never been there. When I get there, maybe I'll take a selfie. But look, this is a multidimensional sine wave. So you can say, yeah, the center of the circle, or whatever, and then you got a sine wave coming like this, sine wave coming like this, that way. It's a multidimensional kaleidoscopic thing. It, you know, whether you look at DNA helixes or whatever, it's twisting and spinning. It's because life has to change. It can't stay the same. It has to be, again, true perfection seems imperfect, you know. So let me get more into detail about this. This is the pattern of life here, pretty much, essentially, right? I don't know if you guys can see that this is slightly darker, these areas right here. So the backdrop, you could say the whole thing is infinity, the backdrop, and the hologram would be the sine wave, the experiences. This would be like more so like your experience of consciousness, or consciousness itself, if you can quantify it. So that'd be like your backdrop. That's the house for light. Darkness is the house for light, you know. Only way light can be perceived is darkness. So the greater the darkness, the greater the light shines bright. So anyway, the lining of the reality is darkness, or dark matter, melanin. We're inhaling the dark matter. We're exhaling light, or carbon. Again, the body's carbon base. Carbon is 6 electrons, 6 protons, 6 neutrons. That's the 666. That's the mark of the beast. That's the illusion. That's the devil, the body. To identify with it is to identify with limitation and the devil. So, anyway, let me get into it. So, yeah, again, you never touch the screen. The hologram is, it's a shadow. It's an illusion. It can't be grasped. There is no separation in reality. The darkness, or the grapevine that connects everything, you know, is everything. So there is no touching because there's only oneness. And the darkness, again, of course, is unchanged. Infinity is complete. There's never been two perfects. All perfection, or expressions of perfection, is an extension of the one perfection. So, you know, this is, you could call this the womb or prostate that life is in. However you look at it, you know, whatever side, you know, it's up to you. I don't know. I'm not going to tell you what to do. So the breath is making the DMT. The DMT makes dreams. 3D is a slow dream, or an extension of the dream. It's the tip of the iceberg of dreaming, pretty much. So when you identify with the body, you stay trapped in limitation, in the illusion. You're in the light. You're in the blinding light. So the more acquainted you are with the unchanged, unopinionated part of you, the immortal part of you, the more you can retain from out-of-body experiences, and then you can store those experiences in the body. This is inner vision clarity. This is remote viewing, what people call astral projection or whatever like that. Like, since the body is everything that ever existed ever, the Akashic records are always at your disposal within you. So if you have more clarity on the inside, more darkness, so to where you can observe light better, the light on the inside is more observable in natural darkness, Again, if you're eating foods and things like that you shouldn't be eating, then you're taking in that external 3D light, and then it's blocking your dreams. It's like light pollution. It's like you can't see the stars at night when you have a bunch of street lights. It's the same thing. You got a bunch of food, it's light, it's vibration, it's vibrance, resonance, light. It's creating a blockage to where your dreams are not going to be as vivid because it's interfering. It's light pollution. So let me go on here. Let's look at it like this then. So say you're the consciousness going through, being untouched and everything like that. These points right here are your birth or conception points. Again, the sine wave is, life is breath, So as the breath twists or spirals, that creates the sine wave. Again, each age is a breath pattern, a paternal expression. Because pattern, paternal, padre, you get me. You get it. So ultimately, everything is coming from this ultimate spirit or breath pattern that's creating the physical patterns. And so basically, in these spaces, this is where you would be in dreams or in death or parallel between the parallels, between bodies. You can say this is a parallel life over here. These are parallel lives. This is your main base reality. And then so you have your birth and conception point. You separate, you're splitting into two, male and female, you're splitting into two, then you remerge into one, conception, and then the split happens again, you have total separation. This is the point of greatest distance from yourself, or external, direct, opposite reflection of yourself. Whether you're a male or female, it's the opposite reflection. Once you reach this point in your lifetime, in the sine wave, because your life is a file, life and file is the same. So you, same letters. So you reach this point in the file, in the scripture, however you want to look at it. You reach this point, and this is the trauma or catharsis point. This is the start of reconciliation. Either you reach this point painfully or complementarily. All right. So this is the point of return. Again, the divine exercises by returning to itself. The process of return is this exercise. That's how the greater the perception of separation, upon returning, there's a greater sense of reconciliation, a greater catharsis for anybody that might have seen Inception. So anybody that's familiar with Bobby Hemmett's work, and anybody that's done mushrooms or closed their eyes and seen other parts of the light spectrum, it's similar to this. You have your white and your dark or whatever, and it's not exact in a human opinion way. It's fluid. So I could have made this cookie cutter sine waves, but life is perfectly imperfect, so this is more organic. And so let me go into it. I'll just let y'all focus on that right there. So life itself is animated ego death. I'll take you over here, why not? Life is animated ego death. The body is dense ego. When life, or God, interfaces with itself through various degrees of ego, it has a different perception of separation. The tree of life itself shows these degrees of ego, or different degrees of separation, because you have the oneness, and you reduce it a little bit more, and it's a little less infinite, a little less infinite, a little less infinite, and until you get to totally separate, totally finite. Infinite, the halo above the tree of life, the Nebuchadnezzar, or the finite. So that'd be Geb, depending on whatever tree, I don't know, whatever, people have different trees, you know what I mean, it's whatever. Then you have your Klipoth, which is the reverse tree, or the roots, or however you want to look at it. But I'm going to go into this some more. So the process of aligning with the Creator is the process of destroying the ego, the illusion, the devil. So through creation, the Creator realizes itself. Thus, the process of creation is simply acceptance of the true identity, or God. Selflessness, no identity. So pride is lusting an idea or image of oneself, trying to, your reflection. You have this idea inside your head, a concept that you're living in. Instead of living in the moment, people live in concepts. They live in ideas of themselves. And when things don't align with the idea, they suffer. Because life isn't aligned, or the breath, God, whatever consciousness isn't aligned with human opinion. It's aligned with the breath, with the spirit, with reality, and what comes with that. So trying to hold on to the illusion